Happy blood moon, INFJs, and my brothers and sisters of the craft. If you're watching an INFJ video, and if you are, probably an INFJ, which means we should probably talk, because INFJ witches, not too many of us. Thanks again for taking time in your day to listen to your favorite nobody, has been model, ex firefighter, truth teller guy who can't catch a break in anything in his life, unless, of course, it is to save my life, because that's only when I have luck. Live through things I should die through and be not too hurt when I should be severely injured. But other than that, it falls the crap in ways that are so nonsensical. If it wasn't me, it'd be almost funny. So, another topic I want to get to today with INFJs is, this video share with non-INFJs, because it's more for them and also for validation of my brothers and sisters, sages. And that is, INFJs need empathy too. And this is something that a lot of people take advantage of us with. So whether you know it or not, well, if you're here, you're an INFJ. Whether you know you're an INFJ or not, think before you knew. We have crazy intuition. We are the advice givers. We are the psychologists of all of our friends and even acquaintances and friends of friends and people we just met. So we have that ability to read people. We don't know how it works. It's subconscious, blah, blah, blah. We scare people sometimes with it. Spooky. So, but nonetheless, that ability is there. And we usually want to help people most of the time. I mean, we all have bad moods. And we'll dive deep into conversations with people we just met. I remember years ago in 2014, I had just started a new job, and this girl I worked with was going through like a rough relationship, and her boyfriend was bipolar, and it was bad. And she started crying, and I'm like, well, I've noticed this, and somehow it was all right. I mean, it's just nuts. Because at the time, introvert, just started a new job. I'm like, I don't know this person, but what she's saying, I think I know what's going on. Oh, should I open my mouth? And I eventually did, because it's like, oh, damn you, integrity. Now let's, be not introverted and open up to somebody you just met who's clearly upset. Yeah. So, but what people don't realize is that INFJs go through rough times in their life too. Like for me, since March of 2020, when the bullying and hazing started at the Arlington County Fire Department. But most INFJs, we also have this unique ability. People think we're okay when we're not most of the time, because INFJs, we don't gradually decline. We compensate, and then nosedive hard. There might be some warning before it's about to come, but if you're like already feeling that it's coming, it's probably coming. There's no stopping it. You're just that last ditch effort to hold it back as long as you can. Because I did that recently. I remember confiding into a guy at work. I'm like, dude, I'm gonna lose it. Like, shit keeps going wrong all the time. Half of it doesn't make sense. Like, because there was like 5 things that went to shit in the span of like 2 weeks. Now, true, one of them I saw coming. It was the 2-year anniversary of me being wrongfully expelled from the fire department. But the other 4, you know, um, I didn't see coming. They came out of nowhere, especially the one. The one really pissed me off. It's what put me over the edge. And that's the point. That's why I bring it up, because at this time, I'm like, I'm going to lose it. Oh, dude, you're good at holding shit together, this and that. I'm like, it's coming. I'm like, I don't lose it often. I can take a lot of shit. But when I lose it, I fucking lose it. Like, it's bad. It's bad. It's like I'm calling out everybody on their bullshit. Yeah, and that's usually what happens. I start spotlighting everybody. It's like, oh, really? You got to say, well, let's see who you really are. Yeah. And that's something people, take for granted of us, is our ability to use our intuition to help others and our willingness to help others. But usually these people don't return the favor. That can be very frustrating for INFJs, and it can lead us towards hermit mode. Watch my hermit mode videos, by the way. It can lead us towards hermit mode and even to, being a misanthrope, because it's like, well, Everybody just uses me. Nobody cares how I feel. That people I help stab me in the back simply for not going along with the status quo. Fuck them. You eventually reach that point. Something we've all been there. But that's the crux of this. For all you non-INFJs who rely on an INFJ to console you and for our marvelous yet spooky intuition, keep in mind we need people once in a while too. Now, true, INFJs will not use somebody as a crutch. No matter how bad we're doing, we're not going to like completely be like, oh, I need you, I don't know what I do without you. It's not in our nature. Our nature is to become more introverted and push people away. However, I know, walking paradox, well, after I finish this sentence, at the same time, we need people to push through our pushing away and at least let us know that they care. Or here's the validation part, acknowledge that what we're going through is, one of the following: not fair, fucked up, makes no sense, couldn't see it coming, because that'll help the NITI loop, because we're going to blame ourselves. Like, I should have saw this. Things of that nature. Acknowledge that INFJs need empathy, and more than anything else, we need acknowledgement when we're wronged, because a lot of INFJs struggle, especially those of us like me that have, been through narcissistic abuse. You get in that mindset that like the courtesy that applies to everybody else doesn't apply to you. So we get in that mindset like our pain doesn't matter, our suffering doesn't matter, our feelings don't matter. Lack of, we don't deserve empathy. Like essentially that we're just there to be used as this tool to help others. And it's like put them in the closet and bring them out, when we need them again, kind of thing. And that gets old when you're always the one giving advice, when you're always the one cheering people up, when you're always the shoulder to cry on. We don't mind doing that. But when the tables are turned, we're basically ignored, like very few people. And I mean, you have close friends and some of you that have normal families, I'm sure it's different, but I'm talking amongst like your broader group of friends or in the workplace and your like work friends, work acquaintances. Think of how many times that you've been there and went deep with somebody, when they needed somebody to talk to and they couldn't figure out what the fuck was going on or what to do next. And you're the one who got them through that. But were they there for you when the tables were turned? I doubt it. I doubt it. I really do. Because a lot of people are users. They just use people for whatever they need at the time. The ends justify the means. It's a matter of convenience kind of thing. Right place, right time. And then when people are no longer convenient, because for INFJs, the people that we do open up to, the few, and getting fewer, we do not see as expendable. So people that are expendable basically, enjoy their company when it's convenient and sacrifice them when it's not. INFJs don't do that. If we don't actually feel for somebody, we're not going to open up to them. Hence why we open up to so few people, and why we have big gaps in our relationships and relatively low sexual partner numbers. Well, that's more the demisexual thing. But yeah, we're just not in the habit of using people, and it becomes harder for us to trust people. It weighs on our trust issues the more times where it's like, you were just crying on my shoulder a couple weeks ago, and I helped you through a rough time a year ago. And now you're stabbing me in the back, and I didn't do anything bad. All I did was, like not do exactly what you wanted me to do, even though what I did is none of your fucking business anyway. That kind of thing. Yeah. So basically, people have to acknowledge that INFJs hurt too, and we hurt bad. Like, INFJs as empaths, we feel deep, like pain hurty. Like when where do I want to put this? So we open up to few people, but when we do, if that person wrongs us or turns out to not be who they said they were, plays us like a fool, stabs us in the back, all that shit, that hurts extra hard because there's so few that we open up to. And people have to, at least acknowledge that, like, ooh, yeah, like, that's fucked up, they wronged you, things of that nature. And like I said, we rarely get that acknowledgement, in part because our more introverted nature makes us unlikely to seek someone else out to open up to. But word for you non-INFJs here, if an INFJ is like seeking somebody to lean on, like they're being open about their being in pain, that's bad. That's like wubba lubba dub dub. I am in great pain. Please help me. INFJs struggle to ask for help. I did a video about that too. Go watch it. But when we do ask for help, it's bad. Like we're not doing good and probably barely holding it together bad. You'll see our glowers on our faces, and we'll be scowling at the world because not only are we pissed off, we're also up here overthinking stuff. So FE not getting used because, the wonderful NIT loop. Yeah. And we need help a lot of times pulling out of those. And somebody like listening to us and actually acknowledging that what's going on is fucked up, and acknowledging that it was wrong, and acknowledging our pain and the fact that we have every right to feel pain and anger. We want our anger validated too, because our anger is righteous. Again, another video that you should watch. But that's the other point. I almost forgot this one. It seems like INF people's disregard for our feelings extends to our anger when our anger is righteous. It's as if like things that every other person is allowed to be angry for, if we get angry, when it happens to us, we get vilified because we're supposed to be these fucking superheroes who can, take emotional knives throughout our body, no problem, and not only do that, but continue to help other people as we're getting stabbed, and not be affected at all by what's going on with us, not complain about it, not feel any negative emotions, not voicing that we were wrong, and certainly not being angry or seeking vengeance against those that wronged us. Like I said, even if our anger is righteous, it's kind of been my experience in a lot of places. Well, no, I lied. It's been my experience a lot of times in Chester County. Hopefully this isn't true of other places. But this is like these people in this area are fucked up thing. Let me know. I hope so. If not, if this is resonating and hitting home, I'm sorry. This is one of those moments where I wish I was the only one, but I don't think I am. It's probably one of those things where it goes on everywhere and it's just worse here. Worse. But yeah. So keep in mind people who are friends with INFJs, people that work with INFJs, anybody who's ever leaned on us. When we're in a bad place, we need help too. And we're, probably not going to ask for it. But if we do, then you got to take it seriously because that's real bad. So non-INFJs, I hope this made you learn something about INFJs and when we need help, and the fact that we need empathy too. And that even though when we're in deep, deep, deep pain, we usually don't show it. It's bad. It's bad. It's bad. It's bad. It's bad. It's bad. So keep that in mind, INFJs. I hope this gave you validation if you know what the hell I'm talking about. If I'm stark raving mad, let me know that too. When I mean stark raving mad, I mean about like what I'm talking about in this video, not in general. I already know that. So remember, trust your intuition if you feel you need to ask for help, INFJs. And, don't sell out your integrity to other people who don't give a shit about you. Spotlight.